What is up and how you doing? Today I'm kicking off a new series called Does It Suck, where I check out and review games often within the indie genre. I love indie games because they have the best chance of bringing something new and interesting to the games and not just following the same old AAA formulas you see year in and year out. To debut the series, I'm taking a look at Planet S, a space RTS with a focus on colonizing planets with limited resources and building up a space fleet large enough to take over the solar system. So let's find out. Planet S?
Does it suck?
Planet S was released on Steam October 28th of this year by TeamJA, a small studio that looks to have only published this one game. It plays like a traditional RTS, most similar to Rise of Nations. However, the games tend to be quite a bit longer, somewhere between a traditional RTS and like a Civ match or Civ game. It's also low poly art style, which I don't mind, but does come with its pros and cons, which I'll discuss a little bit later on in the video. Just jump in, create a quick game, just to show you kind of what the options look like. It's, if you played any of the RTS, you recognize this menu. It's just you creating a game. You can play with yourself up to 4 people. You can go through enable multiplayer. You can change the world type, where you either have a tiny planet or a standard planet. Then you can adjust the size on top of that. World difficulty would be the how difficult the game is, the bots, all that kind of stuff. Resource abundance, kind of self-explanatory there. Planet difficulty will adjust how much usable terrain there is. Resource limitation, little pretty self-explanatory there as well. You also have additional options for like pirates, which would be similar to barbarians in Civ, where they just attack your cargo ships, ferrying planet to planet. But other than that, I mean, it's all pretty much old hat. I'm sure you've seen this a number of times. I like the options, nothing too crazy. So once you're in the game, a tutorial pop-up will come up. I recommend doing the tutorial. It's not the greatest thing in terms of teaching you the whole game, but it is very key in getting you started off on the right foot and kind of the basis of how the game plays. I definitely 100% recommend it. It'll get you to your first planet with your first colony, and show you the little intricacies of how things and buildings work together. While the beginning of the game starts as most RTS games you've played, the game is very different and like I said, much more akin to Civilization, and just the pacing of the game is so much nicer. It's a lot more chill, it's a lot more relaxed, you know, through the build-up stage of the game, that your actions per minute don't matter nearly as much as they do in some other mainstream RTS. And for old gamers, you know, it's not too bad, especially in these strategies type games where maybe strategy matters a little bit more. There's also just so much to do in the game. There's so much to manage. You have not only your main colony, which is building whatever it can on the planet that it's on. You also have multiple colonies on other planets, gathering unique resources from those planets that maybe you don't have on yours, so you can fulfill the proper combination of items to build whatever you're building, be it, you know, more spaceships, cars, cell phones to increase the happiness of your workers, to increase your money, to whatever it happens to be, or to even increase your population so you can supply yourself with more research points, so that when you're in your research tree, be it science or military, it's researching faster, so you can get the better, more productive nodes in it. I mean, it's just a lot more just relaxed game as far as fighting is concerned, and you're not, at least against the bots I played, you know, I wasn't going crazy. I think I was on, I had a game on normal as well as easy, and they don't fight you unless you, basically until you build a starship port or a spaceship port. Nobody had declared war on me up to that point. I can force it if I want to through the diplomatic means of the game, but I didn't. So like I said, there's just a lot to manage, and then You can set up automatic trade routes so that you're picking up and dropping off at your planets. But during transit, there'll be pirates that'll attack them, or if you're at war, they're much more susceptible. So maybe you got to throw in some starfighters to ferry along with them. It's a very, very interesting game. I really did enjoy it. I even did a little bit of the multiplayer with my sister and had no issues whatsoever with that. Granted, there's no matchmaking, so it's a pretty easy peer-to-peer type connection. As for the style of the game, both the art and the sound design, the art is obviously very much a low poly style game, as you've seen through the video so far, and I mentioned it earlier. So the assets don't have a lot of detail, as low poly games do. You can still tell the difference between, whatever you're looking at, be it ships, buildings, or whatever. Say for a couple of, early stage buildings, it might look a little too similar, but for what they lack in the visual detail of assets, they very much make up for in the scale detail. So you can zoom all the way in, you can see your workers working, you can see your drones transporting boxes from warehouse to resource plant. You can zoom in to see the trees, see your pumps working, all that kind of stuff. In the background, if you zoom out a little bit on your planet, you can see as the planets orbit the star they're around, you can see the planets moving and shifting and getting closer to one another, seeing ships fly by your planet. It's very important, I feel, in space games to get the scale of something done well rather than the visual details, and this game has done it really well. The sound design, on the other hand, for the game is just about perfect for its style. The background music that plays is the same that's actually been playing throughout this whole video. It's very relaxing, very calm, something you want in these games where you're spending a lot of time in it. Matches can last you very easily 2 hours. Yeah, so you don't want anything too crazy, and it's nice, it's relaxing, very akin to old Minecraft music. Flip side, once you get into combat, it becomes upbeat. You're in combat, you're fighting, you're hearing your guns go off, you're hearing hits with the opposing ships or buildings. So you get that too, and overall, I think the sound design is very good in the game. Pros: the game's free, completely eliminating the barrier to entry just to try the game. I think is a great thing. Great sound design. I think the sound design for what they have in this game fits it absolutely perfectly, and I don't think I could ask for anything really better. The game has multiplayer as well as bots, so you can play with friends. You can play it, as by yourself, and you'll get hours worth of gameplay out of it. For the month the game has been out, it looks like the dev team has been active. Checked their Twitter account, and they post quite a bit of bug fixes, hot fixes, making sure that the game is running. We can only hope that this will lead to, hopefully implementing more content as well. Cons. First off, their low poly graphics. That can very much be a turnoff for a lot of players. I don't mind it so much, but I could definitely see how it is, or could be a con. The game can be complicated to learn at first. It does have a tutorial. You can get your feet wet with it, but it doesn't teach you everything. Attack animations leave a lot to be desired. There were several times where I didn't know if my ship was just parked next to an attacking ship or was actually in combat with them. And there's only ship combat. I would love to see some sort of ground combat, especially since the focus is on colonizing planets, but currently there is only ship combat. So, does it suck? Absolutely not. The game is a ton of fun. I had a lot of fun reviewing it. I had a lot of fun playing it to get the footage for it. I think the game is amazing. It being free is even better. I suggest you checking it out on Steam and just let me know what you guys think of it. Thanks. Catch you in the next one.